Hi, I'm Alex Lu, and I'm very excited to present our case study, Organizing Community-Based Events in Participatory Action Research, Lessons Learned from the Photovoice Exhibition. This case study is co-authored by a team of researchers from the University of Michigan and a team of community organizers from Detroit Eastside Community Network. Central to participatory action research and other community-based participatory research approaches is their epistemological and practical groundings in the lived experiences and situated knowledge in individuals and communities. What's important to these participatory approaches is the philosophy of partnership and the ongoing commitment to social justice. In this light, participatory action research approaches aim to challenge the power imbalances between research institutions and communities by engaging community partners and members in different stages of the research process. And eventually, such approaches emphasize building collective capacity, identifying community assets, and initiating community collective actions in response to community concerns. Over the past 2 decades, HCI researchers have been increasingly adopting participatory action research approaches to design and evaluate socio-technical systems in different settings. Yet a critical and practical question is how to re-indicate the production of knowledge with the study of the implications of knowledge. In other words, how to engage community members in the process of knowledge production and dissemination, and thereby catalyze community actions for changes. One way to foster community engagement and inform community actions is to organize community-based public-facing events based on the research activities and research findings. Our case study outlines some of the practical takeaways for the university partner and community partner to co-organize such events by showcasing our community-based photo exhibition titled Every Photo Has a Story, an Eastside Story on Safety and Surveillance from Behind the Lens. This photo exhibition event came out from the Photovoice project conducted by the University of Michigan and Detroit Eastside Community Network. Photovoice is a community-based participatory action research approach based on the understanding that people are experts in their own lives. Photovoice was originally conceptualized by researchers in public health and social work, and it is relatively new to HCI. Our Photovoice study was conducted in May and June 2022. In our Photovoice study, we engaged with 11 mid-age and senior lifelong Detroiters from Eastside Detroit. They took photos on their smartphones to document and communicate what safety means to them, how they navigate safety in their everyday lives, and how they interacted with surveillance technologies. Please refer to our full paper, Shifting from Surveillance as Safety to Safety Through Noticing, a Photovoice study with Eastside Detroit residents for more details on the study findings. In fact, during the final workshop, participants wanted to host a community event to showcase their photos to the broader community members who were not part of the Photovoice project. Therefore, after more than 2 months of planning and preparation, the community team and the university team held a photo exhibition event on August 27th, 2022. The exhibition included attendees from various groups, such as participants' families, friends, and neighbors, and other community members, community organizers, academics, and media persons. For exhibition, participants' photos were printed in size 8 by 10 inches and displayed on stands around the exhibition space, along with captions created by participants. During the events, all 11 participants were able to showcase their selected photos and messages they wanted to share through those photos. These photos really served as a starting point for attendees to start reflecting on their own experiences with community safety and surveillance. Besides photo display, we also organized a few activities to engage with the broader community. For example, we provided several sticky note boards with several prompts, such as what does safety in your community mean to you? How do you feel about surveillance in your community? And what can we as a community do to be safer? Attendees could join the dialogue by writing or sketching responses on the sticky notes and placing them on the post boards. We also set up a Polaroid instant camera stand where attendees could take photos during the event, print them out instantly, and take them home. We encourage attendees to take photos of people, things, artifacts, and moments that they found meaningful during the event. The Photovoice participant also added an interactive activity that we did not expect. She voluntarily set up a vintage camera display during the exhibition. By bringing her personal vintage camera collection, this participant also spurred conversations among attendees about individual and shared memories associated with different cameras. Overall, this exhibition became a shared space for community members to come together, share knowledge, have dialogues, and build new relations. Attendees appreciate the opportunities to learn about other community members' stories and perspectives, and acknowledge being more reflexive of the city's deployment of surveillance technologies in the community. Participants also appreciated the new outlet to share their photos and stories and wanted us to host similar events like this in their own community gardens and neighborhoods to engage with more neighbors. Yet, we did experience a number of practical challenges during the process of planning and co-organizing this event. For example, navigating bureaucratic processes as a community academic research team, such as hour-based training, negotiating budget, funding, and payments for the event, deciding on the presentation details of the exhibition, as well as promoting the event and engaging with the broader community. On this note, we summarize 6 practical guidelines as a starting point for the future HCI researchers to prepare for, navigate, and to sustain efforts in community-based participatory action research. First, engaging with community members from the beginning to the end to center their voices and vision. Central to community-based events like our exhibition should be the voices, vision, and narratives of the community members. Instead of prioritizing the roles and the perspectives of the community organization staff members and the university researchers, community members should be the co-owners and the focus of this effort. As such, the research team should work closely with community members and participants in all steps of the planning processes, such as seeking their input on the title and theme of the event, the overarching goals and detailed activities in the event, and the presentation style of the photos and other deliverables. Second, be open to a diversity of situated knowledge, identify collective capacity, and foster diverse contributions. Each member of the research team brings unique situated expertise to the team. Yet some of the expertise might be overlooked in the orthodox research setting, but are actually critical to the success of participatory action research, such as photo taking, catering, and space decoration, as well as event hosting. We foster such contributions by engaging the whole team in discussions about each team member's skill sets and interests, and then provided members with opportunities to bring their expertise to contribute to the project in varying ways. Third, identify bureaucratic challenges and develop solutions early on. To mitigate the bureaucratic challenges, it is vital to ask several key questions that must be answered for successful partnership at the beginning of the project. For example, how will the university team be held accountable? How is the decision-making process transparent to the community? And how to avoid potential unintended harms brought about by unforeseeable or foreseeable bureaucratic challenges. Some potential steps involve communicating with various institutional entities, including the finance and human resource teams, to understand the ins and outs of the bureaucratic processes involved in setting up and executing the project. Next, reduce the burden of labor placed on community organizers. This may require an open communication to assess the needs and resources of the community organizers and areas in which they would like support. Next, we have utilized multiple networks to promote the events across a broad set of stakeholders. Researchers should work closely with the community team and relevant community organizations early on to avoid schedule conflicts and strategize ways to collectively promote the events. The research team must also be attuned to the needs of diverse community members and work to reduce constraints on their participation, such as by making the event more accessible and providing transportation to resource-constrained members. In addition, promoting events that are based on participatory action research can also raise the visibility of community organizations' services and programs. Publicity opportunities like this can support community organizations' future programming and funding opportunities and extend the reach of community actions to different stakeholders. And finally, we have identifying opportunities for sustained engagement and impact in the future. Community-based events like this exhibition should not be the end of a partnership between the university and the community. Instead, such events are part of the broader community action and should be connected with further reflection and programming. That is, we must recognize such partnerships are ongoing efforts Together, we hope that by sharing our lessons learned, we will create pathways for future HCI researchers, practitioners, and designers to have equitable and successful community engagements. Please refer to our paper for more details. Thank you.